Hello people. So I'm remote controlling. Ooh. I'm remote controlling my camera. This is awesome. So I wanted to make a quick video. What I wanted to do is remember my April one with its sheath, and I have another knife with the same kind of sheet, which is my Cold Steel OSS. It's a bit bigger, but it's the kind of sheet. I don't remember what they call those, but just to be sure I'm on focus, there we go. The holes on each side here, you can pass some cord, so that's what I'm going to try to do. So I got myself some paracord here, and what I'll want to do, I took out a few feet of it, and what we'll want to do is string that through here. So what I'll do is I'll set you guys up so you don't see my face, but instead you see what I'm trying to do. So if we bring it down like this, oh shit, give me a second. There we go. That should be good. There we go. So you can see that. So we'll start with the April one. So what I have is I'll crank up the light. There we go. So I don't know how many feet of cordage that we're going to be able to fit on this. So I'll go with the best that you know. I'll gauge that. So 1 feet, 2 feet, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, and 20. Let's start with about 20. So what I did is I want to stretch out my cord so it tries to remove all these loops that you see there, these little so I'm stretching out my cord, so it's going to remove all those loops. It's going to make it easier to oh, that burns my fingers. There we go. All right. So I'm not sure how I want to do this. Like, do I want to wrap? Example. I'll just give you an example of what I mean. Do I wrap, you know, like this, and then keep doing that, you know, like this, and have multiple like that? Or another way I was thinking is to loop once like that, and then after that go in X like that. So I would do my X on the top, and in the back I would do my straight line like that, and then I would come back on my X like that, go back in here, and then go underneath here. And the reason for that is, by doing that, I might end up with a kind of a considerable bump here. You know, the only way I could avoid a bump, like, oh, I know. Oh, I just answered my own question. So look at that. So what we'll do is we'll pass that 20. That's a lot. I don't know if that's going to be too much. So what I'll do is I'll cross like that. Oops. So what I'm thinking of doing is crossing like that, and doing only, you know, going from the top to the bottom. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to go top to bottom, That's like knitting. And I'll try to always keep it like that, and then what I'll do is I'll bring the other guy. I think this is going to consume my evening. I didn't plan to do that all night, but I think that's what's going to happen. So see, this guy here, if I bring him back on top here like this, and then bring him again and again and again and again and again. See? And I go like this, and then I tighten that here, and then I bring it back underneath. So we keep this like this, and my plan, so that they don't overlap one on top of the other, I would go like this, like this, like this, like this, like this, till I'm at the end here, and then I'll loop underneath, and then go above like that. So I'll have an X, but it will be too flat, instead of being all on top of each other. So let's try it like that and see how that goes. The only problem is, I think I should cut my rope. So yeah, that's what we'll do. I think 20 feet is too much, but I'm gauging this. Let's do this. Okay. Because the problem is I got way too long cordage here. So what I'll do is I'll bring the other end of the rope, which is this guy here, all the way up to here. So I only have one end to pull on now. You know what I mean? So we try to keep this one always on top like that, this one like this, so this one will start at the bottom here. Yeah, this is going to be fun. So the goal of this exercise is do that without ever swearing. Try that. Okay. Yep, it's going to be fun. And the goal is not to make knots as I traverse through all this. Yeah, that's working. The problem is it's not staying there. I have to hold it there. I guess that's the goal of this. I'll get rid of my other stack of cord because it keeps falling on it and then I get confused. I got a big bunch of paracord here. I'll put that at my tripod so then I don't have to get confused. Okay, so the other end is here. I want to go on top here and then underneath. I don't know where I'm going with this, guys. We'll see. Is it going to hold? That's the thing. I don't know. Yeah, the problem is to make it hold there. Nah, shit. It wants to get loose all the time. Because what I want to prevent is overlapping, like I'll just go like this to give you an example there. If I go like this, and then like this, and like this, and like this, see, after a while of always overlapping those ropes, this is going to make, you know, this here will amount to be a huge mountain. So that's what I'm trying to prevent. What I'm trying to do is have all the ropes flat on the side like that, all flat, and then after that, when I yeah, so that's not going to work. So the only way I can do a flat like that is if I go sideways. That's unfortunate. Unfortunate. Oh well. I mean, my ideas of grandeur. So what we'll do is we'll just go on this side like that, you know. We'll start like that, and for now this guy I'm just going to put in here to try and lock it. Yeah, so I'll put as much as I can in this hole and see where that goes. See, I could most probably go another layer. I won't have any choice to go another layer. What I could do at this point is jump to the next row and then come back on this row when I want to do my second layer. So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to take this, come here, pull it all out. What the hell? So we got that straight, and then I'm going to go to the top. So my goal is to go here now. And then here, and I'll go on the other side. Here, pull that. What? Okay, and bring that to the bottom, and then, oh my god, my ass is already sore. I should put a pillow underneath it. Give me a second. Sorry about that. That was my phone. That's my office phone, so when it rings, it's important. Important. Alrighty. Oh man, we're getting. I'll take my April out of my April 1 out of there because it's going to cut that rope. Talking of the April 1, I saw a review the other day. Two guys in, I think they're in Germany or something, and they trashed the knife. Not trash it, but you know, they gave it about an average of 6 out of 10, and mostly because it was the steel that Lily chose, which is the AUS 8. Not everybody's a fan of that, and I understand why she did it. First of all, she did it most probably to keep the knife cost effective, because you have to understand, when you're not a knife maker, and that was her first design ever, so she had to come up with I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to go back down here if I'm up here. Interesting, because I can't go any, you know, I've taken all my width here. What I could do is the last layer, there we go, I'll bring it like that in the back so that I'm able to cross like this after. So anyhow, these guys, they were trashing the knife, and I think it's mostly, you know, it's a sexist stuff. I think it's just because she doesn't have a penis. You know, a girl coming up with a knife, what does a girl know? And anyways, that's my point of view. Maybe these guys are honest reviewers, but you know, like what they were telling about the knife, I think it's not fair. It's a very good knife for the price, and I can tell you right away, this knife puts to shame knives that are sold 10 times that amount. And well, not 10 times, but you know, like double the price, by people that have been doing that for 30 years. So imagine, that's her first knife ever, and she did that knife based on her own experience of using a knife. Oh well, look at that. And I didn't think about it. I could have used the holes to come. Shit. Now that I think of it, it's a bit too late. See, I could have, you see these 4 holes? I could have most probably jumped from this hole to that hole and so on. But you know what? It's a bit too late for that. So anyhow, me, I'm loving this knife. It's actually the best knife that I've had. And I've had my share of knives, but for me, this is the best all-arounder knife. You know, the knife that I want on my belt when I'm going to bush. It's for sure not going to fill all the purpose of what I expect of a knife, but it damn does a lot that I do expect, and more. So I recommend this knife to anybody. But for all the AUS haters, Lily has stated that she'll make another version with carbon steel. So what carbon steel exactly, she didn't tell it, but well, it's getting tight to get in there, man. Oh, she tight. Come on. Fuck, I'm not gonna do that. Might need a needle soon. Oh, there we go. So yep. I don't know where I was with this chat. And some of you are wondering, why the hell are you doing this, dude? Don't forget, this is gonna be the knife that's on my belt all the time. And by adding a good 20 feet of paracord on my knife, in case of an emergency, I get stranded or whatever, I have 20 feet of paracord on my knife that I can dismantle with a bit of pain, but it's going to be there. And paracord is very, very resistant to wear, so I'll be able to strap out that cordage and, you know, potentially make a shelter or whatever. It's paracord is extremely versatile, and in a survival situation, 20 feet of paracord is godsend. because sometimes you don't have that luxury. But as soon as I go in the bush, this knife is going to be on my belt, and if shit hits the fan or something bad happens, something unexpected, well, I'm going to have on top of a very good knife 20 feet of paracord. Smart. But I didn't think of it. This is an old trick. A lot of people will wrap paracord all over the place, you know, bracelets, and they'll put it all over their gear, their axe. Some people use a paracord to protect the just below the axe head. Oh, instead of having leather or something like that, they put paracord. But then again, I don't think you're going to get lost with an axe usually, unless you're gone for chopping wood and you get lost. Oh, this is getting hard to do, man. I think I didn't tight enough the first row, so now it's biting me in the ass. Problem is my trying to flatten out my paracord, but because I burnt this end and I want to dismantle it, because paracord is a 7-strand. You see it on this side. See, this one has been disassembled, and you can just see the hairy of it. I don't want that on my other side, because on this side here, see, it's burnt, so it's solid. Go in there doing that. Jeez, I don't know how to put that. Something tiny wedger. Oh, maybe a multi-tool. Where's the multi-tool? Yeah. What's in here? Oh, there we go. No, not this. This here. No, me and my fucking nails. This is perfect. Okay. So I'm going to use this this piece here and try to push through my rope, because it's at a point now that yep. So what I'll do is I'll put it here, and then I'll use this. There we go. Nope. Got it through. 20 times more to do. Alright, give me just one more. 1 second. Oh, yeah, man. Oh, this old bum says thank you. Oh, that's painful. But, okay, do I have to poke on this side, or can it just go in? Alright, sorry about that, I had a phone call. So while I was on the phone, I finished wrapping around. So this is what I came up with. So what I did is, when I finished the top row here, I still had all that rope left. So what I did is I wrapped it around at the exterior. It's not that fancy. I think I should have made my knot in the back, but you know, I don't care. It's not going to rub on my leg or anything. So I prefer having it on this side. It's less cute, but I don't care. So now what I was going to do is I was going to cut the ends of that rope and burn it down. So if you guys don't know that trick, I'll show it to you at the same time. So let me get a lighter. A lighter. I don't know if this guy works. Yeah, it does. Okay, so I'll get my cutting board. My cutting board. My cutting board. Oh my God. I tell you guys, being seating like that for too long is bad on the ass. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut this the excess of rope, and I'll put you guys here so I can see at the same time. I'm going to cut the excess of rope and then we'll burn it down. So to cut it down, I'll just go like this. No, this is not cutting at all. This is not cutting. I'm gonna have to sharpen my knife, dude. Fuck. Okay, gotta sharpen my knife. So I'm gonna look for another knife that I have already that is sharp. My little Moore knife most probably is. That's not too shabby. Okay, so here, I put it here. Okay, yeah, I really have to sharpen my knife. Okay, and then on this side here, we want to cut it. You don't want to cut it too much. So what I usually try to leave is about 1 centimeter, which is a 1/3 of an inch. So see what's left? It's just these I don't know if you can see this. These little things left. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take the fire and we're going to burn the edge. So what you do is you burn it. That's not long enough. And what you do is you take the back of your lighter there and you just squish all that in there. And this is the end result. See? It makes it all flat. I don't know if you can see that. It's all flat in there. You know? So I'm going to do the same with this guy here. And what I do is I burn much more, and when I burn it, I always use the yellow of the flame, and then I ignite it. I don't want to breathe of too much of this shit. There we go. So I'm going to let that melt down. I mean, not melt down, but dry down. That's pretty much how it's going to look, you know. So the back, I like the back almost better, but the goal was not to make it too sexy. The goal was that once the knife was in there, and it's on my leg. I didn't want that, you know, the back, there's nothing to interfere. So the rope is, the knot is on this side, which is the exterior. So if the knot would have been on the inside, that knot could have rubbed on my, because this is, it's like a bit where you push it down with the back of, look at the back of the lighter, how it's all disgusting. That's all the stuff that that was taken off from the paracord and squishing it in, you know. So yeah, so I got 20 feet of paracord wrapped around my knife. Cool, huh? So it was just a small video I wanted to make. So I didn't teach you guys anything, but I wanted to, I might redo this eventually, you know, pass it better. It's my first experience. We still have this guy to do. So if you guys can comment, you know, if you have a better trick of how I could pass my cord in there, if you have another technique that you can link to me, I'd really appreciate that, because obviously I never did this in my whole life, and it's very ugly. But I'm not a guy that goes for the bling. I go for the thing. So what I want is stuff that works, not stuff that are pretty. And you should always do that, you know. I'm not a superficial dude. So anywho, I've just discovered that my knife is completely dull. So where do I carry my knife sharpener? Put it in here. I don't know if I showed you my new fire steel that I got. It's tiny, but look at the thickness of this guy. You know, it's a big, thick, it's a fatty guy. I would have liked it longer, but I don't care. It's the goal is oh, and by the way, this is where the Apo 1 shines. The spine here, it's so sharp, it's terrible. To do sparks with that there, see, I'm not even forcing, you know, like, if, because I'm right now on my blanket, I don't want to burn it there, but it's really, really sharp. So to strike a fire steel, it's the best knife I've ever seen. You know, it's awesome. I could scrape wood with this. You know, remember my Moore knife? I had to scrub the back here, and even then, I can now scrape it, but you know, I had to put effort into it. This side here, it's still round. You know, so round that I had to sometimes even use the blade. You never want to use your blade to scratch. That's your last resort, but because you're going to damage your blade. But when you don't have an edge and you need a spark. But this guy, God, I love it. It's really cool. So I'm going to sharpen this with my Falkniven, whatever, the DC4. And I'm going to give it back the edge it wants. It loses the edge to the end here, and that's one good comment those two guys had. When you insert the knife in here, you can feel the resistance, and Lily explained why she has that. What she wanted is the knife to, but it's because of the, now that I covered it, you don't see it, but there's like a blade form into the sheet, and that's what's causing that. But it wasn't necessary, because once you put the knife in there, it's secured. You know, you don't even need to tie it. So it didn't need to be so tight, but it is. So when, like, if I keep the spine completely on this side, I avoid that. But usually when you put your knife in there, you're not really looking, and as you go, it rubs right here at the beginning in there. It rubs, and that's what dulls this part of the blade really fast. But this part here is still very sharp. But I'll give it a new edge. You know, I'll do the whole thing. And I've been abusing that. The tip, you can see the tip is starting to lose paint, because I use it to stab my wood and then crack it to split it. And I process all my wood at home with this, and it works marvelous. Anywho, thanks for watching, guys. So please subscribe, please like, please share, and please come back. And I'm going to try this weekend to go back in the bush. I don't promise anything, but I'm going to do my best. And I have some vacations coming up at the end of April. I had 6 days of vacation of last year that I hadn't taken yet, and I'm forced on vacation, so I'll be using those vacation and most probably going in the bush and film a few videos. So cool, huh? So for the money shot. Ciao. That's better. That's old paper. That's good enough. Sharp all the way to the edge. Cool. Kill the paper.